Welcome to the video, guys. My name is Lewis. I am part of the TBF team. I competed for the first time last year in the UKDFBA, which is a natural federation. Competed in the novice class, which was my first year competing, obviously, as a novice, and I ended up winning the British final in the novice class, which is obviously what the aim was, what the goal was for last season. But last season was my last year competing as a natural. I've taken the jump this year to the assisted side of the sport. It's aligned with my goals. It's just simply necessary for what I want to do with my career in the industry. And that's when, as well, I started to team up with Mike. You know, a great amount of knowledge, and someone I've known and trust. I've known him for a long time, and I trust his knowledge. And it's something that, you know, we've spoken out about for a long time, like when I would take this jump. So it's nice to be able to kind of go through that journey together. But in terms of bodybuilding in general, I first of all got into the sport through my dad, really. I've always been around gyms, I've always been around bodybuilding. My dad was a bodybuilder himself, he owned gyms, so I've always been kind of exposed to the bodybuilding lifestyle and the bodybuilding environment, so it was quite like a seamless thing for me, really. It wasn't like, you know, a lot of guys and girls get into the fitness industry and it's kind of a big jump from what they were doing before, their lifestyle before. But for me, fortunately, you know, something I'm very, very grateful for. I've always been exposed to it, and it's kind of given me a bit of a head start, really. Earlier on in my childhood, I was always that kid that, you know, just wanted to play sport all the time, every single day. I've always wanted to kind of pursue something to a decent level, and bodybuilding is pretty much just my vessel for that now. If it wasn't bodybuilding, it would be something else. But in terms of where I am right now, obviously I've just taken the jump to go assisted. I've also, you know, gone full time with my coaching business as well, which is something that I really, really want to pursue. My goals really would be to compete and coach at the highest level. That's what I want to do within the sport, and hopefully, you know, leave an impact on people's lives, you know, help people reach their potential and exceed their potential. That's what I want to do, and that's something that I try to do myself. I'm trying to kind of lead from the front with.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams.
So we're in for a push session with Big Dan. More of a doubt focus session today. Dan's last session was push. He didn't actually plan it very well, but it was 2 days ago. I think it was slightly more chest focused, so we'll go slightly more delt focused today. Start off with calves as usual. Good with you? Yeah. Start off calves as usual. We'll go into a crucifix lateral movement. We'll then have 3 presses, triceps, and some more laterals to finish. So it's a fairly heavy delt session. Delt, touch on chest, decent amount of tries, little calves.
Still looking for more. My people, they got a soar. I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore. Just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big. Jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little. My God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cards is real big. I gotta do it big. The only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents, and now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
Why I do what I do is this man. It's my dad back in the day. Yeah, so the last year my dad competed was 96, which is the year that I was born. But during the years that he was competing, I pretty much built this place. So this is pretty much where I was brought up. So I've actually really always been in the gym. Like, I've always been exposed to the bodybuilding kind of environment. I like to think that I'm kind of carrying on that family tradition, carrying the flame. And hopefully, you know, make the old man proud.
To the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big. That's the only way I can live. I gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. I Gotta do it big, gotta do it big, that's the only way to live.
Consolidate that top there. There, beautiful. Quiet. Good, come on. Yes, mate. Yes. Good. And again on here. Drive. 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 Good. Leave it there.
Take it there.
A bit about a battle at the moment, especially with overhead pressing. Obviously, I'm 2 weeks into a diet phase now, about 10 pounds down in total. It's obviously a lot to drop off in a short space of time. So pressing especially like free weight pressing and Smith pressing, you know, where body weight probably counts for the most, they are going to suffer. So 62.5, 5 last week, managed to hold on to that 5 this week. Same with the back off, numbers are matched. In this phase for me at the moment, that's a win. I'm not expecting to progress numbers massively, especially on pressing movements, but I can hold on to them as much as possible, so when food comes back up, body weight comes back up, they should shoot back up with it. So it's just a game of holding on to as much as you can, and then once the food comes back in, body weight comes back up, you should be able to shoot past what you were doing previously.
So we're right halfway through the session now. Yeah, it's what I expected it to be. I've watched the guy for long enough to know it's going to be an intense session, but yeah, it's just a little point. It's nice to have like the spot where it's not necessarily just about the shouting, it's the little cues, the remember to breathe, you've got one more, the talking effects really works really well, but yeah, it's an intense session, I knew it would be, and yeah, I really enjoyed the opportunity to train with Lewis, and I could watch him for that. His form and his execution is like top notch, so watching it up close,
Yeah. Ooh, let's go. Wait. Hold on, Q. Yeah, feel like I'm at the tippy top of my game, looking down at the rafters. I had to sun these boys, can't leave them bastards. A lot of dudes, just some undercover actors. I don't fall for it, I'm privy to all your tactics. Yeah, so try again, this time take a vitamin. Yeah, invite them in, welcome to the Lion's Den. And I'm Mufasa, big boss in charge of coming in like a bull. You see me raising the stock up, yeah. So baby, you gon' need some patience. I already won, now I'm just making a statement, Damn, baby, why your mans keep hating? You asking about the cake, you here for the celebrations? And I ain't fishing, I ain't really into baiting. I know they all wish I take away they maiden, but sorry I'm taking me and my lady mating. She look me in the eyes and tell me how much she loving on my confidence, yeah. It really shouldn't be no arguments, cause you're now viewing the greatest of all time, saying I can't get better, I promise they all lying on my confidence. Yeah, that's right. Look, I think it's time you start using your common sense. Everybody watch out, cause the bomb is lit. I got that confidence, that's right. Confidence, yeah, confidence, that's me, hold up, yeah, I'm sorry if I stutter, yeah, my brain move a little faster than others, yeah, I even keep a close eye on my brothers, cause sometimes it's your blood that turn into blood suckers, yeah, and I'm on a big mission, my whole team got a plate up in the kitchen, yeah, I'm talking everything, I make all the fixings, yeah, they come a long way from where they come up missing, I blame it on my confidence. Yeah, promise I'm really this astonishing. And yeah, you're now viewing the greatest of all time. No need for thank yous, the pleasure is all mine. That's my confidence. Yeah, that's right. No downplaying my accomplishments. You call me arrogant, I take it as a compliment.
All wrapped up, mate?
Yeah, that was it was a good session, man.
Good session, yeah.
Like I said to you, like honestly, because I've used your training as a reference and see up close like how you execute and you form, and yeah, it was an education. Obviously, like it was like thanks for letting me come and train with you today.
Of course,
like,
mate. Yeah.
A lot and like yeah, it was a good session.
Very good session.
I hope I spotted you. Okay?
No, it's actually fine, mate. Trust me, you'd know if you didn't. No, it was a good session actually. It's nice to have someone that like trains in a very similar way, wants to push themselves in a similar way, and wants me to do well just as much as you want yourself to do well.
Yeah, man.
I think like in a training partner, like you need to be as invested in them as you are in your own.
Yeah.
Like your own session. Do you know what I mean? Like I think it's nice to have someone come down and like you kind of bounce off each other.
Yeah.
And kind of stay on the same level.
Yeah, I felt like
Yeah,
that.
definitely. Like the thing is, even though like there was a little bit of the strength gap, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you bring the intensity, support, like that's all you need in training partner, in my opinion.
So obviously, like this year, my first time competing. Obviously, you was novice champ. As a natural, what advice would you give to someone competing first time?
I think, like especially as a natural athlete competing for the first time, condition will be your best friend. Like you'll never ever say you'll never turn up to a bodybuilding show. Your feedback will never ever be you were too conditioned, you were too lean. You can never be too lean. And especially as a natural athlete, like you'll get the odd freak, as I mentioned to you earlier. You'll get the odd freak, but there's not going to be a huge discrepancy in terms of muscle tissue. Like as a natural athlete, you're lucky to put on 5 pounds of tissue a year, and that's if you're very, very good at training, you don't miss a beat, and you're extremely consistent. So if you look at the natural shows, like you'll get the odd standout, but generally there's not going to be a huge difference between muscularity. The difference in the placings come usually through condition. So, if you're not necessarily a really heavily muscled guy, you bring condition, you're going to beat someone that's got 5-10 pounds more tissue than you. Just by being in condition. Especially at the natural shows as well, UKDFBA, they reward condition. So you can, as I said, like you can never be too conditioned, mate. So just absolutely nail that.
Nice one.
And you'll have a good season. 100%.
I appreciate it. Thank you, and thanks for letting me come and train.
Of course, mate.
Thanks for having me.
All good. Bodybuilding for me, it's always had an impact, even before I personally was pursuing the sport myself. Obviously, with my dad competing, it's something that I've always been exposed to. And obviously, throughout my childhood, I played a lot of sport. And that kind of bodybuilding mindset and the habits around bodybuilding has always been something that's been in my life, whether I've known it or not. From prepping my food to take to school, to eat at lunch, to training in the gym at lunchtime at school. Always wanting to be consistent with the foods that I eat, the meals that I eat. This was before I even knew that this was because of bodybuilding. So it's always had an impact. But I started pursuing bodybuilding seriously when I was around 21. I'm 25 now, so in terms of like really pursuing bodybuilding as a career and in the sport for me, it's been about 4 years now. That was at a time that I just dropped out of uni. I've been there for 2 years, wasn't in a good spot at all with pretty much every aspect of my life. So I decided to just jump in, just go all in. And since then, as my bodybuilding's got better, as my physique's got better, as I've progressed, so has my life really. It's always kind of ran parallel. And then things have developed. I've always been someone that's wanted to help people, even before when I was at school, in my rugby team, at college. I was writing people's programs, helping people with their diets before I even knew what a coach was. So I've taken my knowledge, my passion, as something that I've spent a long time doing, and I've turned it now into a business. So I'm now a full full-time online coach. Trying to give as much as I can back to something that's always had an impact on my life and always had a positive impact. Now's my chance really to try and share that with other people and let other people see the positive impact it can have. And I think as well, there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of kind of stereotypes with bigger guys, bodybuilding in general. I think when general pop hear the word bodybuilding or you hear someone's a bodybuilder, there's automatically things that jump into your head, and I like to try and think that I can kind of break that stereotype in a way. You're not just an angry, selfish meathead who only cares about themselves. And I think as well, obviously recently there's been a lot of negative press, especially around the assisted aspect of the sport. And it's something that I've just jumped into myself. I've been assisted now for around 6-7 months. And it's had nothing but a positive effect. Obviously there's a lot of thinking, a lot of planning, and a lot of potential negatives that can occur there, but you have someone on your side that is knowledgeable and you can trust, which for me is Mike, who's obviously helping me a lot at the moment with that side of things. It's been nothing but a positive for me. It's improved my life in many ways, and the reason why I jumped in the first place to the assisted side was my goals for what I want to do in the sport simply require it. So for me, I need to use it. I need to go down that route, but at the same time, I want to do it safely. And I want to be around in the sport and just around in general for a long time. So doing it safely and having someone I can trust as well was hugely important for me. And Mike is that guy. Although there has been obviously, it's all been positive for me in terms of jumping to the assisted side, but you have to still be aware of the negative sides, and it's something that comes through education. As long as you educate yourself beforehand on the potential negatives that can occur, you can do your best to kind of be aware of them and manage them. Often you'll find your temper, your kind of blood temperature rises quicker. You get annoyed at things a little bit easier and irritated a little bit more. Potentially acne, potentially some kind of gyno side effects. But as long as you're aware of these and you know the signs and the symptoms, you can kind of nip them in the bud early. And that's again, having someone that you can trust and you respect, and they respect you with the choices that you make, with what you're putting in your body, and how you kind of look after it and manage it along the way.